Okay, so hello everyone, good evening. So maybe the last session before CAT 2025 for all of you with us. So it's going to be a fun session. But before we get to the fun part of it, I think first we all want to talk about the boring stuff. The boring stuff is basic things that I want everyone to keep in mind on the day of the examination. I think Kushal also has some points to add. I also have some points to add. So we will talk about on the day of the examination, just before the examination, reaching the center, what to expect at the center, what to do, what not to do, all of those things. First, let's clear that out, and whatever doubts you have with respect to that, please clear that out as well when I'm talking about all of these things. So firstly, let's start off with what all can you and should you carry. So things that I think everyone should carry is that everyone can have a bag. In the bag, make sure that you have your admit card or your hall ticket printed out and the passport size photograph that you had attached on your CAT form affixed on it using Fevikwik, gum, glue, whatever you want. Affix the passport size photo and carry at least two, if not more, copies of the admit card with your photo pasted on it. So that should be in your bag. What else should be in your bag? 100% definitely keep a Fevistick in your bag, because invariably that particular photograph is going to come off. It's going to not continue to stick to your page. So if it comes out, you don't have to panic. You don't have to ask for gum here and there. So if you have one in your bag, you can take it out. You can stick it again. Okay, so that also definitely put it in your bag. Carry one pen, although they will not allow you to take your pen inside the examination hall, but carry one pen because you don't know what they might ask you to do before the paper begins. So it's always good to have a pen on your hand. Then carry an ID proof. In fact, carry two ID proofs, two government issued ID proofs. It can be PAN card, Aadhaar card, driver's license, passport. So these are the top four that I would recommend out of this. Carry any two, keep that in your bag. Pack all of these things and keep your bag ready. Apart from that, you are allowed to carry a water bottle. So if you want, carry a water bottle, but then make sure that it's a transparent water bottle. I would say that if you have something like a mineral water bottle, a disposable water bottle, buy that and then take that with you. Okay, that's the best possible thing that you can do, and rip off the sticker of it. Or even slightly translucent water bottles, like, which have got like a blue or a green tint to it. Those are allowed, but prefer to carry a transparent water bottle with nothing written on it. Okay, so these are the only things that you need to carry. You can carry your phone also with you. People who are going by their own private cars, you leave your phones in the car, because your phone will not be allowed to be taken inside. But you can, like, if you're not, say, going by your private car, if you're taking some kind of public transportation or you're going by cab, then you can take your phone with you, but then you have to put the phone in your bag and then place the bag outside. We have not had any kind of a theft being reported from CAT centers. So although the bags are not kept in lockers per se, but then if you we have not had people stealing phones and all, so you can be rest assured that if you keep your phone out, your bag with your phone outside the center, it is not going to get stolen, right? So I think these are the things to carry, and of course in your bag you can carry any kind of currency. So this is with respect to carrying in your bag. Kushal, anything else that you want to add with respect to the bag itself, packing of the bag?
Yeah, the water bottle that you are carrying, please ensure you only have water in it, which should of course be absolutely transparent. Don't mix any glucose in it or don't mix anything in it. Please carry just the water inside it. Okay. You might want to carry some energy drink with you, but trust me on this. They'll not allow you to take any of those things inside. So please keep it that way.
But Kushal, by talking about mixing, you have given me some ideas that I want to execute. But okay,
Yeah.
we'll not talk about that right now. But moving forward,
They can
uh,
allow that. No, I
okay.
don't see a problem with that.
Yeah, it's definitely not a problem for us, but it's a problem for the students for sure. All right. So moving
Yeah.
forward, let's talk about the attire. What are you supposed to wear? What are you not supposed to wear? So number one, okay, don't give the um, examination center authorities any excuse to put you into trouble or to trouble you, to make a problem with you. So anytime that you are a bit doubtful that should I wear this or should I not wear it, don't wear it. For example, I'll tell you a simple thing. Okay, you're wearing a t-shirt. Don't wear a graphic t-shirt in which something is written, because suddenly they will say that this is not allowed. Anything written is not allowed. All of that might happen at some centers, might not happen. That is up to the discretion of the people who are letting you in. But don't wear text-based t-shirt. Okay, don't wear a t-shirt in which some kind of equation is written. Even if it is E equal to MC square, which has got nothing to do with the CAT paper, don't wear attire like that. Second thing is that avoid any kind of accessories. So girls, Any jewelry, leave it at home, because if again every examination center is different. We have had cases where people have been asked to take off their earrings, asked to take off their necklaces and bangles. So don't carry any kind of accessories, and that includes watches also for everyone. Even boys, if you have some kada or if you wear some kind of a nose stud or an ear stud, try to remove that and go without any kind of an accessory on your body. Next, what kind of attire are you supposed to wear? What kind of dresses will we recommend people to wear? So I would always say that wear something that makes you feel comfortable. For example, I'll tell you what I will wear. I always wear a t-shirt with some kind of an inner layer. Why? Because I feel cold. I have stayed my 6 years of my life in a place where snowfall used to happen from November to April. And yet I am physically and physiologically, I am a Tamil Nadu boy. That I prefer the heat. I'm a very tropical kind of a person, and I feel cold even if the AC is slightly, of a stronger variety. So that's why I always make sure that I properly insulate myself from the cold, because I don't want to sit in the examination and feel cold and feel uncomfortable. At the same time, if you are someone who is going to feel who generally feels a bit more hotter and is more comfortable in looser clothing, in more summer type of clothing, wear that. Also, dress according to the weather that you are in. So if you are in a place where winters are right now pretty severe, you can wear sweaters, you can wear pullovers, you can wear cardigans. So that is allowed. Try not to wear jackets which have got too many pockets. Prefer sweaters which have got less number of pockets. Apart from that, jeans are allowed. Even say proper track pants and trousers are allowed. So wear something that you feel is comfortable for you. Now, footwear. Footwear also make sure that you are wearing something that is easily taken off and easily wearable. So oftentimes before you get into the examination hall, there will be physical checking that will happen. So they will ask you to take off your shoes. In fact, sometimes even to go into the examination center, they will ask you to take off your shoes outside. So don't wear something where you have to sit down, take it off, and then put it on, and that's going to waste too much amount of time, and that's going to unnecessarily cause a bit of stress. So make sure that you're wearing shoes that is either push-in or some kind of a sandal. If you're someone who feels cold like me, then I always wear socks. So you can take off socks and you can put it on, so you can wear socks. So this is what I would recommend in terms of attire. Anything else, Kushal, that you want to add? Being a spectacled person, do you have anything to add?
No, specs are absolutely fine. There is absolutely no problem with the specs, but uh, there's too much button on your body also creates sometimes trouble. So please ensure that you wear something which is absolutely plain. There's not anything extraordinary about your attire. As Varun rightly pointed out, don't give them a reason to trouble you for no good reason. So do not wear anything that is extraordinary, that has got two five buttons there. They're then checking it at some place. You do have sometimes metal detectors also, and they create trouble because of that. So make it pure, simple. That's it, right? So keep that idea very clear on your mind. Ensure that you carry something that uh, at some places we have found that the centers are way too cold. At some places we have found that the centers are really hot. So be prepared mentally that any of these things can happen. It can be too cold, it can be too hot. You just don't know. So be mentally prepared. Don't panic over there that I'm not liking this, I'm not liking that. So that's how it works there. Are trousers with pockets allowed?
Yes.
Yes, but not too many. Don't make it a cargo which has got eight pockets in it. Then they are going to check every pocket, right? So, and for some reason, if you have something in the pocket which you have not noticed, then that will create a trouble for you, right? So don't do that. Safe is to go with a simple t-shirt. Half sleeve shirt also will do,
Yes.
Raghav. That's fair. Analog watches, no watch,
Not at all.
Aditya. Absolutely no watches. Okay, you don't need one. The timer will be there on your screen, and you don't need anything beyond that, right?
So avoid any kind of mask. Handkerchief is absolutely allowed. So you can carry handkerchiefs. So you can carry a mask also. So if you are someone who likes to wear a mask, then you can even carry a mask. Even that is allowed.
Kerchief is actually a good idea to carry because sometimes you do find the place to be slightly messy, slightly dirty. Some of us are, individuals who want our table to be absolutely clean before you sit down there. Then you need a kerchief to at least clean that place and, set it according to the way you want it to be.
I think with respect to eyewear, Kushal, I said in the last session also, I will once again repeat that know that what you will be comfortable while taking the examination. So people who have both contact lenses as well as spectacles, generally I've seen that people say that spectacles are safer to wear for examination, because contact lenses, if some kind of dust or something goes inside, then you're in big trouble. And that has happened to our students in the past. So try to wear specs to your center if you are someone who wears specs. Right. So this is what you are supposed to be wearing. Apart from that, if anyone has got any kind of family festival and all coming up, okay, and it's some kind of festival where people are going to wear mehendi, especially girls, try to avoid doing that. Okay, so try not to wear mehendi in this last 1 week, because we have seen that sometimes it messes the biometric system. Like I once had a student in my center who was wearing mehendi and on her hands, and because of which a fingerprint was not being registered by the biometric scan before the this examination. So try not to mess up your fingerprint by wearing mehendi, even if it's a religious festival. Try to celebrate your religious gathering or festival in a way where you don't have to wear mehendi or do anything to mess up your biometric scans.
All
Right.
right. There's just one more thing.
Mhm.
Uh, Please understand this thing, guys, that the ID proofs that you are carrying, it must be original, and you still have fair amount of time to get your originals in your hand. Please ensure that you are carrying originals. Don't unnecessarily carry the duplicate ones, and then they tell you that these are duplicate ones, we will not accept it. Don't do that. Take at least 2 or 3 ID cards along with you. They allow you to carry your ID cards inside. In fact, you will be asked to carry your ID cards inside, and it will be checked inside, so you can carry it with you, you can keep it with you. Take originals and then go. Okay, don't take duplicate copies.
Okay, so now with this done, let's just talk about on the day of the examination, what all things has to be done. So when do you reach the center? So there is a reporting time given on your admit card, and that's different for every single person, even from the same slot. You don't have to abide by that. No center actually goes by that particular order of letting students in, which is according to the reporting time. But in our experience, it makes sense to reach the center 1 hour to 1 hour 15 minutes optimally before your exam start time. So if my exam is at 8:30 a.m., I would prefer to reach at 7:50, between 7:15 and 7:30 a.m. to the center. Yes, Kavi, that's absolutely fine. Even if you
Aadhaar
have a
photo is not a problem. It's absolutely fine.
So 7:15 to 7:30 is when I will reach the center. If my slot is 8:30, if your slot is 12:30, then 11:15 to 11:30 reach the center. And similarly, if you're 2:30 to 4:30 p.m. slot, 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. slot, then try to reach by 3:15, 3:30. Now, why I'm asking people to reach that 1 hour early and not slightly later than that is because there's a lot of things that will happen outside the center. Firstly, if you plan to reach early, then even if there is some kind of unforeseen delay, let's say that on the way there is some kind of a road blockage, some kind of sudden traffic happens that day, it rains quite a bit, and because of that, there's a lot of backup of traffic. Some road construction is going on, so the route that you want to take is blocked. Your car breaks down. You still have time for a plan B. So that's why that is one reason why I would absolutely recommend that everyone should definitely reach the center about 1 hour, plan to reach the center 1 hour to 1 hour 15 minutes before. Even if you reach 1 hour 15 minutes before, what do you do? I recommend that don't just rush into the center. Okay, once you go inside, reach there, stand outside, take the scene and be relaxed, get used to the environment, look at others who have come, look at the troubled faces of others, and then get some sadistic pleasure out of it. I get that every single year. In fact, I'll talk about it in detail later on. So do that. And then when there is about 60 to 55 minutes left to the start of the paper, then you start getting into the gate. So what will happen is first they will ask you to get into the gate, then they will ask you to stand in separate lines, and from there will be one first check happening of your ID card. Then they will ask you to go and deposit your bags, and once you have deposited your bags, and after that they will ask you to go through a physical frisking where they will go through your pockets, and they will go through the fact that whether you are wearing something or having something in position which you should not have. So all of that will happen. Then after that, they will tell you which floor you have to go to for your examination. If it's a say multi-student building, once you go to your floor, after that they will tell you which room. So you have to go into that particular room, and after that you have to go and get your biometrics done. So biometrics will be you'll have your eyes and your retina scanned and your fingerprint scanned, and then after that they will assign a system to you. Once you go to your system, you will have to after that get used to the place where you're going to be taking an examination at. So in every one of these processes there is going to be lines. So I guarantee that from the time that you enter the gate till the time that you reach the seat, minimum 15 to 20 minutes of your time will be spent. 15 minutes, I would say, is bare minimum. Like if everything happens very fast, then 15 minutes. It has even taken up to half an hour. That's why I'm saying when there's 55 to 60 minutes left, if you start this process, then with about 35 to 40 minutes in hand, you will reach your seat. And even if it's slightly delayed, you will have about less than half an hour of time at your seat. Reaching that seat and sitting on that seat with at least 20 minutes in your hand is important. Because I feel that if you suddenly are put into that particular seat, then people start panicking, and when they are not used to that particular environment, and then suddenly examination begins, then it becomes all the more difficult to say take the paper. So what do you do? Let's say that you have reached the seat and your examination is going to start in another half an hour. Then what do you do in this half an hour? As Kushal is pointing out, number one, look at the table that you're sitting in, see if it is clean. If you're not someone who's comfortable with something being unclean, because these people sometimes at some centers they don't even dust your keyboard and your table. So use your handkerchiefs to dust out things and then keep everything neatly. Then figure out where the keyboard is, where the mouse is. Be very comfortable. Check how far away you want to go to sit from the monitor to be able to read whatever is going on the screen very very comfortably. Check whether your chair height can be adjusted. If it can be, then adjusted to a proper height. If it can't be, then make do of the situation the best you can. Check where the CPU of your computer is present. That's a very, very important thing to do, because sometimes, what they will do is they will keep your CPU near your foot. And in your nervousness, you'll be shaking your feet, and then your leg will go and hit the power button of the CPU, and the computer will shut down. And then you will panic and you don't know whether the timer has stopped or not. And this has happened, by the way. I'm not making this up. This has happened to one of our students. It has happened to one of us also, if I'm not mistaken. I think it has happened to Ajay sir once when he was giving NMAT, that his leg hit the power button of the CPU, and his entire system switched off, and then it had to be switched on. So if you want to avoid these kind of ordeals, then make sure that you know how to sit and how not to sit. Check where this power button is, and sit accordingly. And look at your monitor carefully. There's any blind spot, because this happens sometimes. They give you very bad quality monitors where in the middle of the monitor there's a blind spot. And this has also happened to me once. There's a blind spot in the middle of the monitor where a data interpretation graphs' data is present. I cannot look at that data. Now I'm trying to make and interpret that what the data point might be. So if all of that you have time to spot, you can ask for a replacement or a change. So that's why half an hour of time is important after you reach your seat. And Kushal,
Understand
anything
one
you
thing,
want to
guys. You are writing the exam in a country like India. Okay. It's
add?
a troubled place, to be very honest. Okay. And all sorts of things can actually go wrong. My preparation for this session was actually only this, that I wanted to list down how many problems can you go through. And I can make you aware that these problems can come, and be comfortable with this, right? So it is not necessary that your foot hits the power button. It hits anything and it gets shut down, right? So be very, very careful, be very comfortable in that place, know what not to do. And it's a good idea to reach to your seat at least with a 20-25 minutes in hand. Okay. And make yourself comfortable there in your place. As Varun rightly pointed out, do all the kinds of checks possible. Now, when he said that you clean the place and all of that, don't start unplugging everything and then start cleaning as if it is your home. Don't do any of those things. Okay, just do the basic cleaning. Don't move around things too much, because then it might trouble you later, right? Because the things are not working, and then they'll say, why did you do this and why did you do that? Basic cleaning, basic things, get that right. Sit in your place, calm, comfortable. Don't write anything anywhere. If Just see around your place that if there's something written, and if there is an invigilator around, you can bring that to their notice that, look, this is already there and I am not the one who is writing or doing any of these things, so that they are aware about that particular place, although they don't trouble you that much, but that can happen. Also, what Varun was pointing out with respect to the screen that you will be looking at, last year when I wrote my ZAT paper, I'm telling you, trust me on this, that the entire screen was actually smudged with pen marks on it. It was so much more difficult for me to actually concentrate on that screen. I asked for a change. They did change that screen. They did make me sit at another place, but that another place was actually equally bad, right? And there's nothing much that you can do about it, right? So be mentally prepared that some of these things can happen to you, and it's fine. It's a part and parcel of the game. having been born in a country like India, right? We can't really help it. I'm not, no offenses meant to any, nationalistic people. I'm also a very nationalistic, patriotic person. So don't worry about all of those things. But the situation is at some places bad. There's no doubt about it.
One more thing, one pro tip that I will give you with experience is that in this waiting time, in this 20 to 30 minutes of waiting for examination, go and use the restroom. Whether you want to use it or not is beyond question. Just go and use the restroom, relieve yourself with an empty bladder, come back and sit at your seat. I'll tell you why. Because with a full bladder, calculation is impossible. And I'm telling you this from personal experience. CAT 2021 paper, I calculated 8C4 for 12 minutes because I couldn't. I had to go very badly, but they didn't let me use the restroom for some reason, even though CAT instructions clearly says that you will be permitted to use the restroom. I said that let my timer run, I don't care. But the invigilator just decided that no, you cannot leave your seat till the examination is over. So I had to endure that and I couldn't solve the
And now,
question
just for
properly.
fun, you can mention your percentile for that particular year as well, right? So, so they realize that even after 12 minutes of calculation, how well can you score, right?
No, yeah. So my percentile was not great. I got only 95 percentile in quant that year.
Yeah.
So so like I could have solved probably had I relieved myself, I could have solved at least two more questions, I believe, in those 12 minutes.
Look
Right.
at your
So
face. You're feeling still bad about a CAT 2022 paper, which was irrelevant for you, right?
Arjun is asking overall. Arjun, that's not the point. No, like why overall?
No, no, that's not overall. Don't offend Varun. That was a 99 still overall, but then sectional was slightly less, 95 only.
Can you so Harish is asking a question. Let's see how many of you remember my parajumbles class. Tell Harish what is the sequence? Waiting for everyone to give that answer. Thank you, Aditya. Yes, Mark. Thank you, Durga. Thank you, Ganesh. Perfect. 2143 is absolutely correct. So 10 points for all of you. Right. Okay, let's
You,
move forward. So this is what will happen before the examination, right? So now the
you
paper
never
begins.
told
You
me
take
the
the paper.
secret that it is 2143.
You need to attend my BA classes, Mission, for knowing that.
Oh, that's just too much for a question to get right. Will do without that. Yeah.
Right. So moving forward, you take the examination, your paper is done. After that, you go collect your bags and you go home. So during the paper, of course, you are supposed to be allowed to go to the restroom and drink water, but I would ask you to refrain from doing that because, of course, you're going to be losing time if you do that. The timer will not stop even if you visit the restroom. So that's why I'm saying relieve yourself before you continue to take the paper. Yes. So, good question, Aditya. So I just asking about rough sheet. So what rough sheet do you get? So as soon as the paper begins, what will happen is they will, or just before the beginning of the paper, they will hand you all pens and a rough sheet, a scratch pad. So the rough sheets will not be A4 size; they will be a standard notepad size. So I think all of you have used a flip notepad, not the small ones, slightly larger ones. Okay, so slightly larger notepads you will have, and then that will have 32 pages in it. Okay. And on the very first page, you will be asked to enter your CAT registration number. So you can look at your admit card and you can enter the registration number. And that registration number, write that down at the very beginning and your name using the pen that's been given to you so that you can test out your pen. Testing out your pen is very important because if the pen is not working, you can ask for a replacement pen. They will give you cheap quality pens. So sometimes it will work, sometimes it will not work. Most of the times, pens have not been a problem. But still, this is a good time to test out whether your pen works fine or not. After that, people often ask me that will they give us extra rough sheets? They will not give you extra rough sheets, but you will not need it. I guarantee you will not need extra rough sheets. I am someone who writes very, like my font size of my handwriting is huge. Like I think I write in a 32-point font size, especially if I'm in a hurry. And I have never even come close to exhausting the notepad that they have given to me. Right, Kushal? Have you ever come close to exhausting the notepad?
Never.
Hmm.
I mean, I take at least two, three sides of pages while I solve one LRDI set. Although that's another case that I can just try two or three LRDI sets, not more. But then the point is very simple that it is really difficult to exhaust that sheet. And that is one thing they do right when they conduct that paper, that they give you enough number of sheets. I have never come across a student who has come back and complained about the number of sheets being on a lower side.
Right. So yes, so you have to keep on flipping. Please don't tear pages because you'll have to give back the notepad. And if you see you tearing pages, that's going to unnecessarily create trouble for you. So don't tear pages. It's okay to flip back and forth and keep on using that notepad. You will not exhaust it, guaranteed. And if you exhaust it, then that means that you have solved every single LRDA and every single quant question because VRC you have never could use a notepad. And if you have attempted 22 questions of DILR and then 22 questions of quant, you are 150% percentile. So that's a great job. It is plain, so completely plain,
It is
unruled.
unruled. Darshini, they will not allow you to take a transparent pouch along with you to keep any admit cards or anything. You will just be allowed with an admit card in your hand, and with whatever ID proofs you are carrying, you can only carry that inside with a kerchief in your hand and a water bottle. That is all what will be allowed.
Pencil will be
Pencil
given,
will
no
not
pencil.
be given.
Only one pen will be given. You have to make do with that pen. Riddhi, I would advise against it. You don't need to do all of that. Riddhi is saying that should I take a mini mock? I don't know what a mini mock is at a cyber cafe to get used to alien computer systems.
Disastrous. No, don't do
So
that.
don't do that. Yeah, you
Yeah,
don't have to go to that.
you got to believe your fate that it's not going to be as bad as I described. But I was just looking at the worst case situation. I've had occasions where things were working absolutely fine and absolutely no problems there.
Yes, Costa, you can. And also, when you say alien
Also,
computer, so yeah, yeah.
huh, I want to bring this to all your notice to everyone that if there is a situation where because of any act of invigilator you are feeling highly disturbed in the classroom, please politely bring it to their notice. I'll tell you the incident that happened to me last year. When I was writing the paper, I was just at the entry of that particular room. In the first row I was sitting there, and after the paper the paper rolled out, we started writing the paper and everything. I'm in the middle of my reading comprehension section, and I find in a corner of this particular room three or four invigilators again and again getting together and talking so loud that I can very clearly understand what are they talking about, and it was very disturbing. I kept quiet for the first 5 minutes, but then I realized I had nothing at stake. Even if they asked me to leave, I'm fine with that. But I was very surprised that none of the individuals sitting around me had the capability to come up and say that you can't do this in the room. So I had to literally get up during the paper and tell them that please, can you be quiet and let us write the examination? Be extremely polite. Don't be rude to anybody out there, but politely communicate your point just in case if it is disturbing you too much. Now, the person sitting next to you might be a disturbance and you cannot do anything about that, right? So the person sitting next to you might recite every line that that individual is reading, and you just can't do too much about it. You can probably request a time or two that can you please do it slowly, but then or slightly lower pitch, but there's nothing much that you can do. But if an examiner is the problem, please bring it to their notice. They will be considerate enough to not make a mess out of that and acknowledge your request and do accordingly. What if they still get offended, Jency? They typically don't. Okay.
No, but I've given the best possible answer.
Yeah.
If someone, even after you're being, this is for life in general. If someone has a problem with you without any reason, then give them a reason. That is the best way to deal with situations. You will at least leave the place happier. Even
Yeah.
if you have to leave the place immediately, you will leave it happy, a lot more happy.
No, but that has
No.
the thing that I just spoke about, the incident has happened not one time, multiple times to multiple people. Okay. So please be careful about this. No, Mark, you don't need to bring any writing pads there. Can we tell the invigilator to tell them to keep quiet if someone is too loud beside me? No, Som, you
Mm.
can't do that because that's their comfort zone and their way of writing the paper. That's why I told you that if there is a student around you who is a trouble for you, please tell them politely to lower the pitch. That's all. They might agree, they might not agree. That's something that you can't do anything about.
Generally, the people who are invigilating, if they find someone to be disturbing, they themselves tell them to keep quiet. Okay, so um, if that is not happening, you can, tell the invigilator with, instead of it looking like a complaint, tell them that, can you ask that person to be a bit quiet? It is disturbing. Whether they do it or not is up to them. I don't think invigilators will be that proactive in doing that. You can even look at that person who's sitting beside you and by your eyes tell them to, lower the pitch a bit. But then these are things that will be unavoidable on the day of the examination.
During the mocks, I usually read out slightly loud, especially the reading comprehension, DILR to begin with, and gain momentum. Sir, is it a malpractice? I don't think it is a malpractice, but please consider the people sitting around you. They might get disturbed, and you don't want any of your competitors also to get disturbed because of you. So you should lower it in such a way that it is not troubling anybody.
Arjun is asking how to check keyboard that all keys are working. Arjun, you don't have to type out any answer.
Huh.
You will not use keyboard at all. You can for all you want, you can just plug the keyboard out and throw it out of the window. You will need only your mouse. You won't need anything else. Probably at the very beginning to enter your registration number or your password or something like that, they will ask you to use your keyboard. But then apart from that, you won't need a keyboard at all. Right. One more thing that will happen. Darshan, the last time when I was waiting for exam was dreadful. So I will talk about that. We'll just talk about that in a bit. Okay? One more thing that will happen during the examination, especially as soon as the paper begins, is that the invigilator will go around and they will give you a form to sign. That will happen only after the exam has begun, and you cannot avoid that. You cannot tell them not to take your signature. So be ready to do that. It is not going to be a major sense of a distraction. Uh, and even after signing that, you can immediately go back to taking examination. So they'll make you sign and they will take your hall ticket away. Right? You don't have to remember anything, Anish. You don't have to remember any ID, any password. Whatever you need will be there on your hall ticket. And once your examination begins, they will take your hall ticket away. Okay. Right. Now let's talk about the finishing of the examination. After the examination, what are you supposed to do? So I don't know what you're supposed to do. You want to laugh, you laugh. You want to cry, you cry. Only thing I will tell you is what not to do. What not to do is not to call or text any of us. I don't want to dissect the paper. And this is not a CAT thing. This has been my life motto and principle since I have been in class one. I have never looked back at an examination after I have taken it till my results are out. After the results are out, then I can sit and analyze what went right and what went wrong. And I hate this, in-depth critical analysis of, what should have been done, what should not have been done, who did what, who did not do what. I don't want to hear any of it. So if you feel that you have done your paper really badly, I give you the freedom to go back home and cry your heart out. Don't cry during the examination. Don't cry before it. Cry after it as much as you want. If you feel you have done really, really well, go out, party, go and have dinner outside, whatever you want, you do, but don't bother us. And also after the examination on 30th at night, by midnight, Kushal, Ajay sir, and I will together release a video in which we will be talking about the paper and our experience. And we'll talk about the nature of the paper and the difficulty level and what we think can be the cutoffs and how difficult or how easy did we find all the sections. And we'll give our perception. You can watch that video to know what we thought about the paper, but don't text us or ask us any kind of questions. The only thing permissible for me, I don't know whether it's okay for Kushal or not, only thing permissible that you can do after the paper, if you really want to get in touch, is drop me a text saying that, sir, paper is over, I'm very happy. I don't care about whether it went right or whether it went wrong, whether it went according to your plan, whether you screwed it up, whether you messed it up, whether you aced it, how your feeling is. Tell me, sir, paper is over. I'm really happy. If you can send me that message, then that will be the happiest possible message. I will reply with a heart emoji to you, and then we can be done with the communication. Okay. Right. So this is what will happen after the examination. Now, also, I want to talk about people who are giving the paper in the afternoon and the evening slots. Before you go into your examination room, already YouTube videos, YouTube shorts, Quora answers, WhatsApp messages about the paper, how easy, how difficult, last minute tips, last minute strategies will start floating out. We highly recommend that none of you should read any kind of feedback from the previous lot. Neither should you watch any kind of video. Consume no content about the perception of people with respect to the previous lots. For two reasons. Number one, the perceptions are not accurate. I'm not complaining about others who are going to put up their perceptions. I'm saying even my own perception of the paper immediately after I finish it will be very different from after I had 5 to 6 hours to ruminate over it. Will be very different from what will actually end up being the difficulty level of the examination once the answer key gets released. So no one has the capability to properly judge how easy or how difficult the paper is immediately after the examination is over. So don't look at any strategic tips or tricks, and let's let that not color the way that you're going to be taking the examination. You all have prepared well, you're prepared seriously, you have taken enough mock tests, you know how to take the paper. Stick to your strengths, stick to your guns. Don't let others talk you into something that you have never experienced or done before in your mocks in your life. Okay. So don't listen to any kind of content. At the same time, I will also tell you that both Kushal and I are taking the paper in the first slot. So if there is any kind of communication that we feel is critical, like there's been a major overhaul, like there is something that has happened to the paper that is unrecognizable from last year. If there is anything like that that has happened, and we want to make sure that none of you are surprised by looking at that kind of a big change, when you're going to be taking your paper in your slot, then that we will mention in a text message and float it out onto your WhatsApp groups. At best, I would say look at that WhatsApp message. I would say that,
That should
yeah,
be the last thing that you should be looking at before you get into your slot 2, slot 3. Just one message on the WhatsApp class groups and the community group of Crat Square, and we will ensure that nobody puts anything else on our community group on any of the platforms run by Grad Square. Okay, just one simple text which tells you, is there anything drastically different from the previous year paper or not. We will not say a word about the difficulty level and how we feel about it. We are not going to do any of those things. We want you to just plain blank go write the paper and do your best. That's it.
so Durga, I'll give you an example. CAT 2020 paper was a 2 hour paper, right? Till 2019, it was a 3 hour paper. So that in it itself was a big change. And I am Indore conducted the 2020 paper, and they did not even reveal how many questions are going to be there in the paper overall and in each section, and what kind of questions are going to be there. So that we properly dissected and let everyone know exactly what and how many questions to expect and how many sets in LRD, how many RCs. So that we completely gave a detailed list for slot 2 and slot 3 candidates. Last couple of years, there have been small changes in the VRC section and the DLR section. Very, very small changes, like, fill in the blanks questions first time appeared in CAT 2021 paper. So we let people know that that's a question like that you will look at, sorry, 2022 paper. And
I
that
think it was 23 paper.
22, 23, 24.
23 and 24 were the 2 years where we have got fill in the blanks. I don't
Okay.
think 22 was there.
No. 22 is there. 100% 22 is there. I remember.
All right.
22, 23, 24 had fill in the blanks questions. 1 year, we had all 4 types of VA questions. One last year, we did not have para jumbles. So small changes like that. Then in before 2024, whenever the paper was 2 hours from 2021, we had 4 sets. 2024, we had 5 sets of LRDA. So things like that we can notify you will be the pattern of the paper. But beyond that, we will not make any comments with respect to the level of difficulty, because we ourselves don't, and no one knows. Okay, so don't let any such review color your mind, and in fact, don't read any such content. In fact, I will tell you that if you don't even want to read our message, don't read it. Go into the paper knowing what you know about the examination and take it as a blank slate. That will be good enough. You will do really well, even if you don't read any content from the previous ones. Yes, Riddhi. That's it. No, Vedant, that was a mistake. It was not a mandatory question. They, like an idiot, they released a paper which was a beta testing paper. Okay, so it was that there is no mandatory question. It was just mentioned as mandatory because the beta testers had to attempt the question. They had to mark one of the answers and then submit to see that if the responses are getting recorded correctly or not. And that same version, they released it to everyone. So there is no mandatory question whatsoever in any of the CAT papers. Okay. Yes, Jagrit, if there's a change, we will inform. If there is no change, there will be no message. In fact, we will send a message saying there is no change. Go and take the
I
paper.
will send a message. There will be a message for sure, but it will not say anything about the difficulty level. It will purely talk about factual things which are present on the paper. That's it.
Right. So this is what you will do on the day of the examination. Okay. Now, let me, Kushal, do you have anything to add with respect to logistics, protocol, the boring stuff? Or can I start
The
with my podcast?
No, then let me just finish the problems that I had
Hmm.
written,
Sure.
and we then move on from there. So
Okay.
I had written a few problems. Some of these have been already covered, and if there's something that has not been covered, I'll just quickly take you through. ID cards we have already discussed that what kind of ID cards you have to take. Problem with the pictures, I have made that reel. I've floated it to all. If you've not seen it, understand this thing, that keep that same picture that you have uploaded in your form, which is right there on your admit card. Take just exactly that picture and take a print out, take prints of that and carry it along with you. As Varun rightly pointed out, 3 admit cards with pictures pasted on it is a good idea. Along with that, you can keep 2 more pictures with you and a fevi stick. That will help you, uh, you know, do well on this. Do well in the sense, not in the sense of the score, but easy to get through. Problem with the retina scan, it happens several times that they put it on your eye 2 3 times, it is not working, they'll change that machine. It has got nothing to do with you or a problem that is at your end. It is a problem at their end, they will fix it, don't worry about it, just sit there, that's all. There's nothing else that you need to do. And a lot of times they'll ask you to wash your face, come back, because there is a bit of problem there. So all of that might happen, but ensure that you stay calm there. That happens. So can you please reconfirm once again how many questions we have to take in all sections? Kavipriya will talk about that. Okay. Now, as Varun rightly pointed out, the problem of washroom is always there. As he rightly pointed out, just use the washroom and come back before you start the paper. Desktop not working, mouse not working, all of those problems will happen. Be mentally prepared with that, that if that happens, this is how I react to that. I don't make a mess out of it. I call the invigilator, I tell them that this is the problem and they'll fix it. Don't worry about it. Okay. Excessive cold, heat, dress code problems, travel issues always happens. Okay. Please sort your travel out for sure. If you can book a private taxi first, it is better to do that, in terms of, when you have the contact details of the driver available with you, who will come, when will come. If that is possibility, then do that, because your backup option will then be Ola, Uber and everything, right? So if it is a private taxi whom you know regularly, that is more dependable, then please ensure that you do that. That's a lot better, because you are aware about the individual as well. uh, Center location issues also occur. Sometimes you presume that that is the center, you reach there and you realize that that's not the center, somewhere else is the center, right? So if it is in your city, keep that 15-20 minutes of time in your hand, that I'm going to reach there, look at it, and if everything is fine, that's okay. So 1 hour 15 minutes is what Varun had spoken about, and keep another 15 minutes in your hand, and that's okay, that's absolutely fine. Sorry. There are a lot of students who report health issues when they are going and writing the CAT paper. Health issues in the sense, somebody will say that I had fallen sick in the last week of the CAT preparation. All of that happens. My strongest of recommendation, please take care of yourself very nicely for the next 5 6 days. You should take care of yourself throughout your life for sure, but at least for the next 4 5 days, please ensure you don't eat wrong, you don't do any nonsense, physically, mentally. Keep yourself at peace. Okay. Pattern change issues always happens, and that typically happens with the first slot. People who are writing the exam in the first slot, don't panic. Expect a 10 percentage of the paper to change. Okay. And let me tell you, even if you don't do anything about that 10 percentage of the paper, you can still do well on the entire paper. There is absolutely no problem. So don't panic sitting in the paper, oh, this is there and that is not there. You will have to, especially the first set of individuals who are writing in your first slot, you will have to be mentally prepared that there will be a surprise element on the paper. That has almost happened every single year. I have not seen any year where it is exactly same like that of the previous year. That has not happened, right? So I expect some amount of changes to be introduced in this particular paper, and you should not panic when you're sitting there. Just stay silent, observe, change your strategy accordingly, move on. That's it, right? Now, there's one more thing that I want to say to each one of you, that on the day of the CAT paper, when you are sitting there, the screen is loaded in front of you and they have asked you to go through the instructions. You must go through instructions, every single word written in that instructions piece. Several of you have come back and asked me that, sir, what if 10 lakhs is the answer? Do I write 10 with zeros, or I just write 10? How do I look at that? Please understand, in that instructions part itself, they will tell you how to answer the questions where there are no options. Okay. Now, if you don't read that particular piece carefully, then you will be searching for the instruction at the end of the question and you will not find any, right? So it's advisable that reading that instruction page also gives you a bit of warm up to your reading as well, right? So do that reading There's nothing wrong with that. Go through every single word of that. Also, on your hall ticket, there are instructions. Read everything. Read everything in that instructions page. Don't miss out on anything. Right? I think, Varun, are you there? That is
Yes,
all.
yes, yes, yeah. I'm replying to things on the chat. Yeah.
In terms of number of questions across topics, sir,
No,
Raghav,
that's a question that we will talk about later.
yeah.
Okay.
That,
In terms of number of questions, if there is any change, yes, that's what Raghav will let you know. Durga is asking, how did people handle the shock of seeing a fill in the blanks question for the first time in CAT 23, not 23, Durga, 2022 paper? They handled it by reading exactly what the question is asking and solving it. That's how I handled it. So what is the shock? The social. Okay. Rasya panicked in the beginning. Just the question was, yeah. Yes, Aryan. Yeah. So that happened last year.
heavy rains from Saturday to Tuesday due to cyclone situation just come across the.
That is very normal, Rishabh. The CAT examination means that there's going to be heavy rainfall in Chennai. That is what we have experienced over the
Chennai
course
is
of the last
actually
7
a
years.
bad place to write a CAT exam.
Yeah. Every year we have waded through waters to go and write the CAT examination, but it happens nonetheless. Just make sure that you take a bit more time to write the paper.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about some experiences. Okay, so from the very beginning, I think since the third or fourth mock test, I've been making it a point to talk about the fact that you should be happy. You should be happy when you're taking the paper. Take it at a point of time when you're not stressed, when you're relaxed, when you're not sleepy, when you're not hungry. At the same time, I have kept on emphasizing the importance of happiness, and especially in the last 1 week, with respect to the instructions that we had given you over the course of the weekend, we have told you how to be happy. And I'll tell you why I value happiness quite a lot when I'm taking examinations. And I'll take the example of CAT itself so that it becomes very relative. I've generally been happy when I'm taking examinations, when I do really well. I have been very stressed, very panicky when I have not done well in examinations. And the very first time that I took CAT was in CAT 2018. So I've never written CAT for myself. So I have not done an MBA. So unlike Kushal or Rajasan who are MBA graduates. So I took CAT first time in 2018 because I was already teaching students how to take CAT. And at that point of time, I was not taking any classes for VRC. I was a quant trainer and I used to only teach geometry and permutations, combinations, probability. 2018 year, I only took 3 mocks to acquaint myself with what the paper is going to be like over the course of the entire year. And then I just went to write the paper as an experience. So because it was an experience, I wanted to learn what happens on the day of the examination, how the paper looks like. So from the very beginning, from the time that I started to enter the center, my entire aim was to observe and see what do people do. And I was getting a lot of joy out of it, right? I'm someone, although I'm not a sadist, but I do like to see people getting unnecessarily stressed when the situation is not at all stressful. Like I find it really funny when people make a mountain out of a molehill, like a small inconvenience happen and people start crying, and I feel like, see, this much amount of inconvenience also people can't take. Like for example, that year when I was going to take the examination, I was walking into the center, and to deposit the bags, they had a room which was, they were giving out tokens for the bags. And either you can deposit there or you can take the bag inside the say building where the paper is going to happen, but there you have to keep the bag outside the classroom where it is not safe. So everyone wanted to keep their bag safe. And there was a crowd of some 65 students jostling and trying to put their bag in. And the person who is giving out tokens, he's shouting at them, yelling at them, saying that there is no place. No, you have to take your bag away. And then there's a lot of fighting happening. And I am standing there thinking that there is perfectly good space outside the classrooms where we're going to be taking the examination. Put the bag there. Who is going to steal and run away? Everyone is here to take the CAT examination. So I walked past that jostling crowd of 65 people, kind of wryly laughing at them that they're going to write an examination that might determine their career from here on. And they're worried about their bag getting stolen at this point of time. And that is what they're here to fight for. So I found it, a very like a satirical kind of situation. So I went and kept the bag outside. So from there, I started observing things. I went through the entire process. I went inside the examination hall, and someone was asking me, how do I keep myself calm in the 30 minutes that we're sitting inside the room while I'm looking at the system? How do I not panic? You know what I did? I sat there and I started looking at every single person's face who was coming and sitting around me. And I saw a rainbow of emotions, like from violet to red, every single emotion. Someone is feeling sick, someone cannot stop shaking their legs. Two people know each other, they are talking very tensely, and they're asking, what is the formula for this? What is the formula for that? And I'm thinking that this person does not even remember. And I'll tell you what formula question they are asking, they are talking about. Circular motion meeting point formula they are discussing. I mean, this is not a formula. So things like this are happening, and I was laughing at them. That there were two others who had clearly stepped into this place, without any kind of preparation, because their hair is disheveled. They have not taken a shower. They have just come in, and it looked like by chance they have gotten into the examination hall. And both of them are friends, and both of them are laughing at each other. Like, I don't know why we are here, and like both of them say that we are going to fail. So conversations like that are happening. So I was observing everything, and it was so beautiful. I'll tell you why it was beautiful, not from a sadistic perspective now, but imagine a nation full of leadership aspirants together deciding their destiny and fate in one single day. It's a very sad kind of reality, but it is also very beautiful in the sense that there are so many hopes, aspirations, and dreams in that particular room sitting alongside you. It's a beautiful sight. You need to experience that. You need to be looking at it from a literary perspective. Imagine that if you're writing, a novel, a story, and if you could describe a scene which is very poignant, which everyone can relate to, I don't think that you can capture the aspirational middle class of India better than the emotions that will be portrayed inside the room of the CAT examination. And it was beautiful to watch. So I was enjoying all the sights and sounds. And suddenly, while I was doing all of this, the paper just began. And it began, I started reading the reading comprehensions, and I read the passage. It was so beautiful. Like, I was enjoying the passage. In fact, I think Kushal and I had a long conversation about one of the passages. It was about evolutionary biology and its implications on human civilization. So it was a very beautiful passage, and I read every single passage, and I was like, oh wow, how beautifully written. Oh, I love this thought. Oh, what an idea. This is something that I would like to read about more. Let me make a mental note of this topic. So like that, I kept on reading the passages. And because my reading speed is good, so I finished the section quickly. So once I finished the section quickly, I started looking around, and again, I'm seeing people writing on their notepads. And I'm thinking, what are they writing? VRC section is going on. What is this person even writing? But they're writing something. And I was surprised. I was trying to take a peek and find out that what is this person writing, so that maybe I can learn something from it. So all of that I was doing, and then an invigilator started looking at me very, very suspiciously. So I thought that, okay, I should not do this. Maybe he will say throw me out of the examination hall. But so what I did was, I had about 15 minutes more left for VRC to go. So I sat there, and that's the first time that I realized during the examination that my chair was a wheel and a swivel chair. So it had wheels and it had swivel. It was a 1 hour section back then, Mark. So I finished VRC about 42, 43 minutes into the section, and then I had another 16, 17 minutes left. So it was a chair which could swivel. So I was swiveling from left to right. This was what I was doing in the examination. Like, I was enjoying myself. It was like I'm on a swing as a child again. So that's the best form of entertainment that I could find. So I was swiveling here and there. And there was a window just to my left. That there was a window which was overlooking a tree. And I started staring out of the window while swiveling. A very beautiful little blue color bird. I don't know where from it came to Chennai. It was sitting there, and I was watching it, jump around, hop around, and like that, I wind away my time. I was really happy doing the paper. Then LRDA section started. I marked some answers. I solved some sets. After some time, I gave up. I like, okay, LRDA is too much of a mental exercise. 1 hour, I cannot endure this. So I just let it go after a certain point of time. Suddenly, I randomly marked some options. Then just before submission of section, I removed those options. Then came quant. Quant, I remember very distinctly in 2018, because listen, I'm Calcutta set paper. And till then, geometry was a very small part of the paper. Generally, out of 34 questions in quant you used to have back then, you used to have about 3, 4 questions of geometry at the max. That year, we had 7 to 8 questions of geometry. So I start the paper, first question arithmetic, second question geometry. Yeah, because it was a long paper course, so it was a 100 question paper. So it used to be 34, 32, 34. So, first question arithmetic, second question geometry. Third question algebra, fourth question algebra, fifth question geometry. Then arithmetic, geometry. And I am looking at geometry, and I'm so happy because I know geometry. That's the only topic that I'm teaching in the class. So I'm solving it. And then as I'm solving it, as I went past the 10, 12 question marks, I've already seen 4 geometry questions. And I realized most people don't prepare for geometry. And I thought that let me have a look at what the others are doing. And quant section. with geometry questions in it. It's a sight. People are wiping away their sweat. AC is blasting in the end of November, and people are wiping away the sweat. One girl is wiping tears from her eyes. One girl is panicking so much that she's not being able to write. Like her hand is moving on top of her notepad, but then she's not writing anything. She's looking at the screen, and her hand is moving like this. So that's how I gave the paper, and I came. So this is what I did in that entire 3 hours, and I had a blast. I tell you, it was such an enjoyable time. I came out and then I went home and I forgot about the paper. Then the result came and I had a 99.72%. I had no business getting a 99.72 percentile, having given only 3 mock tests, having practiced only geometry and permutations combinations. But I got that score because I enjoyed the experience. This is not a flex. This is about
I, I'm
what
I'm
what
just
it
kidding.
what it is that I know led me to get that score. And you know why I could do that, and I would not recommend any other student to do that, is because I have no strings attached to the paper. That paper does not decide anything about my future. Whether it goes well, whether I get 99 percentile, 9 percentile, I get zero, I get negative, I get a positive score, my life will still go on the way that it has been going on. And that made me realize that this is probably why a lot of students, even after genuine preparation, struggle in the examination. That they start attaching too much amount of importance to the examination while they are giving the paper. I want people to detach any kind of connection that the examination has with your life. Take the paper like I would have taken it in 2018 when I'm definitely not going to join any college for an MBA. So what do you do then? What kind of mindset do you need to have to do the examination that I recommend then? My recommendation is that your mindset should be of a test taker. Your identity should be that of a test taker. So when I say identity, I mean that remember that while as soon as the paper begins, who are you? You are a test taker. You are nothing more than that. You are not anyone's son, anyone's daughter, no one's brother, no one's sister, no one's friend, no one's aunt, uncle, niece, nephew. Absolutely not. I'm speed. I am a test taker. What does that mean? What does a test taker do? A test taker takes a test. What do you do when you take a test? You solve questions. Which question do you solve? You solve the question that is present in the screen in front of you. What do you do if you don't know how to solve that question? You leave it and you move on. That's it. That is all that you are. You are nothing more than that. Anyone who can achieve this mindset at the time of the paper without thinking about the consequences, without becoming a question paper checker during the examination, without counting how many colleges they are going to get a call from, without thinking about whether they're going to disappoint their parents, whether they are going to make their relatives proud, whether they are going to get their girlfriend to love them more because they're going to get a 99 percentile, whether they will have the courage to finally get out of a toxic relationship because they'll be going away to an IM and then say that I don't want to continue with this relationship long distance anymore. All of that remove from your mind. In that moment, be in that. That is all that if you can master, if you can remember that every time that looking at a question, I'm going to solve this. That's it. If you be in that moment, I guarantee that even if you don't get an excellent score, you will at least do justice to your preparation. And that is the best that we can do, right? We have to do justice to our preparation. So be a test taker, nothing more, nothing less. Just to add one more similar story. So I don't want to seem it like make it seem like it's only happened to me. I want to tell the story of one student that both Kushal and I know. That's the story of Saksham Gautam. This I say every single year. And Saksham Gautam gave the paper in 2019 with us, and he was a grad school student. His percentile in CAT that year was 99.95%. Extremely well prepared student. I think even before he went to give CAT, Kushal and I were confident that he is very well prepared. Okay, he will perform well.
I'll tell you the level of his preparation. I was sitting in the VIT Chennai campus during the time of, I think it was July, August, and Saksham was already preparing with us, and Saksham comes to me and say, "So I wanted to talk to you about mocks and all of that." I said, "Come, said we'll have a conversation." He starts by saying, "Sir, I'm bored of this process." I was like, I don't know what board means in the month of July, August with mocks, right? So I asked him, I said, what is your score? He said, sir, I've figured out how to score on the paper. These were his exact statement in the month of July, August. And I got scared. I thought that, here is an overconfident guy, and I think he'll soon burn out because he has to sustain at that level for the next 3, 4, 5 months. What will he do? I just told him one thing, that stop studying more. Just continue to write the papers. That's all, the mock papers, and enjoy your preparation. That's all what you need to do. And I was surprised. I think I came back on that evening and I spoke to Varun on that day also, that I met a student like that who's saying that he's bored and he has already gotten some really good scores on the mock papers, and he says that I've figured it out. I don't know what is going to happen, but this guy looks well prepared. But I'm fearful that he's overconfident on his abilities, because till that point in time I had never seen somebody calling the scores that they're going to get and saying that, I've figured out this paper, which is seemingly a very difficult paper. But Saksham was that guy, and I very clearly remember it was the month of July, August, and the paper was slated to happen in the month of November for that part, like every year. Right. So that's the story that Varun has got first hand experience of that.
So 2019, Saksham Gautam and I and a bunch of other grad school students, all of us had a center at Chennai Institute of Technology. Some of you from Chennai might be knowing it. So I went to the center. Before we got in, we all met outside the building, and then we were observing a few geese which were on campus, and I was teaching them a bit about the difference between ducks, geese, and mallards. So all of that conversation was happening outside the examination room. And Saksham was throughout, enthralled with this discussion. He was laughing along and doing everything. And then we went in. And as we started going in, everyone started feeling a bit nervous and, of course, a bit more anxious and a bit more into examination mode. But not Saksham. Saksham was in his own world. So we went in. CIT has got a huge computer lab. So the gate is at the front, and from there, there's an array of computers along two rows. So one by one, we are all registered, and I go and sit in a particular row. So the row that I'm sitting in, there is a lane beside that, and in that same row on the other side of the walking pathway, there is in this third or fourth seat, Saksham is sitting. So he's the only grad square student that I can see from the seat that I have gotten. And I know that from what Kushal told me, that he is definitely 99 percentiler, and grad square 99 percentiler, that is going to be great for us. We are going to be putting his name on the poster. We are going to use him for a marketing purposes. So I'm very happy that I'm going to see that how this 99 percentiler is going to take the examination. Now, what happens is, as the examination time gets nearer, I think 2 minutes left on the clock, and then the paper is going to begin. Saksham suddenly stands up and goes to the door. And I'm thinking, like, why is Saksham going to the door? And he talks with Invigilator, says that I want to go and use the restroom. Invigilator says, no, 2 minutes examination was going to start. I'm not going to let you. He said, sir, I have to go now. Please. Then Invigilator still says no. Then he says that, sir, I will do it right here, sir. If you don't let me go, I will do it right here. And after that, you have to clean it. So the Invigilator had no other choice but to let him go. So he went. Okay, so he went outside. He's using the restroom. And I am tensed here, because clock is ticking down, and as well as Saksham is not returning, Saksham is not returning, and the clock ticks down. Paper begins. I have left my paper. I'm looking at the door waiting for Saksham to come in. So first 30 seconds pass, and then Saksham comes in, walks in, and while he's coming in, there's an announcement going on the PR system saying that so and so computer system has not yet clicked on begin examination. Please begin examination. Everyone else has begun. And I'm thinking that my 99 percentile is nowhere to be seen. How is he going to get a 99 percentile? But he walks in. And then the invigilator said, like, go in fast, go in fast. So he walks in at snail's pace. He has got no hurry. At snail's pace, he walks, and I see him walking down the pathway. And then I thought, now he'll take a left and go and sit in his seat. But no, he continues walking. He continues walking, goes to a water dispenser which is kept behind me, fills a glass of water, drinks it, then goes and starts taking the examination. I knew then that, okay, that I am unnecessarily worried. This guy knows how to take the examination. He has let go of any kind of anxiety that is attached to it. So he was confident of getting a 99 percentile. I don't want you to be confident of getting a 99 percentile. I want to ask yourself, what are you confident of getting? What score are you confident of getting? If you're confident of getting a 95 percentile, behave like Saksham Gautam and get a 95 percentile. If you're getting confident of getting a 90 percentile, behave like Saksham Gautam and get a 90 percentile. That's what I want people to do in terms of mindset. Remove any kind of anxiety. Give the paper like it's another day. And it is another day. Kushal keeps on telling students every year, and I think this year also Kushal will add that point, and I want him to add that point about the fact that this paper will mean nothing in the grand scope of your life. Right, Kushal? Like this paper is what?
It
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 is
means
absolutely
it
inconsequential.
means absolutely nothing. To be very honest, the day you get your CAT results and you start getting your calls from variety of B schools related to your second round of evaluation, post that, it means absolutely nothing. You land into a B school, nobody is going to talk to you and ask you what was your CAT percentile. Nobody for the rest of your life will ask you what was your CAT score, right? So just treat it as another paper. And to be very honest, I've flunked this paper 4 times for myself. Okay. Well, when I started writing this paper, I flunked it a good 3 times, and the fourth time also the score was not so great, but I still made it to a B school. That was the situation. And trust me on this, it passing or failing made no difference to my life. The life moves on. It presents you challenges. The years when I did not get through the examination, I had a challenge that I have to write the paper next year. When I got through, I had a challenge that I have to complete my MBA. Once I completed my MBA, I had a challenge to look at my job opportunity. Once I looked at my job opportunity, I had a challenge that I don't like my job opportunity, right? Then I had to shift places and I had to understand what is that I like. Once I moved into something that I really like and do, now I have another problem at my plate, that how do I grow this, right? So problems are going to be a part of life, and that's how the things work, right? But what you need to understand is it is just a paper. Go write the paper. It changes nothing for the rest of your life. Just enjoy that 2 hours. Just make use of your preparation that you did for the entire year. You spent your entire year on preparing for this examination. Just live that preparation once more, for one last time, right? I always say this thing, that if any one of you have got the reasons of doing this particular paper, which is XYZ, other than for yourself, then I'm sorry, you are doing it for a wrong reason. As long as I continue to do this for somebody else, and be that somebody else be very close to me, like my parents or like anybody who's very close to me, you will still not get through. You are writing this examination for your future, for your betterment, for something that you really want to do. That is the sole reason of writing this examination. You are not writing this examination to prove a point to this world gives zero dash about you and your scores. Let me be very, very honest about it. Let me be very honest about it. The world does not think about you as much as you think about yourself, right? So there's nobody sitting there and wanting you to fail or wanting you to succeed, right? Forget about it. Nobody gives a damn to your scores, right? It is you who has to understand that you are doing it for your own self and not proving a point to anybody. You're just going out there and writing it for your better life. That's it. That should be the reason of writing the examination and nothing else. You're not going there to prove any point to anybody. Nobody cares about it. We've seen people who have gotten great CAT scores and have ended up doing bad in life. We've seen people who have ended up not performing well on the CAT paper, but still doing extraordinarily well on their lives. We've seen the other way around also, that people have got great CAT score, got into great B schools, made a good life for themselves, right? So that has also happened. I'm not denying that. But what I'm trying to say is it is just one very, very small, tiny part of your life. You might not realize it today, but 5, 7 years down the line, you will come back and tell me that, sir, on that day, I should not have been that nervous. I should not have been that, frightened with the paper. It, at the end of the day, in the larger scheme of things, means nothing much, right? So just live with that idea that it's okay. It's just an exam. Let me just go write the paper, enjoy the paper as much as I can.
Just to add to that point, look, I keep telling people, look at the people that you really personally, that you know personally in your life, you look up to and you admire and you truly love. And ask yourself how many of them you love because they cleared an examination. And the answer will be zero. So then don't build an identity around an examination score. Treat it as a mere number that is going to dissolve into the annals of your life as a nothing kind of an experience. When you are 60 years old playing with your grandkids, you're not going to be thinking about your CAT scores, right? So don't put too much amount of importance at this point of time also when you're going to be taking the examination. I would want to make just three more points. I know we have already taken a lot of time and we have probably bored you a lot, but then just three more points that I want to make that I feel is important for me to make in this session. First point that I want to make is that remember that it can always be salvaged. It can always be salvaged, which means that during the paper, it might happen that suddenly, 2 RCs are solved. Suddenly I look at the clock, only 18 minutes of time is left. I've taken 22 minutes to solve RCs. Is my paper screwed? No, it can still be salvaged. I have solved only 17 questions of VRC in 40 minutes. I go into LRDI. I cannot find a single set that I can solve. I pick up one set, struggle, somehow get three questions correct, but the 40 minutes run out, and then I can't even solve that set completely. Is that the end of my CAT paper? No, it can still be salvaged. I go into the quant section, first 30 minutes, I'm being able to solve only five questions, 15 marks. Last 10 minutes, I'm scrambling to find one question that I can solve correctly, and I get that and I solve that. I don't even know whether it's correct or not. I have still 2 minutes left. It can still be salvaged. Till the paper is over, it can still be salvaged. And this mindset is very important during the examination in order to not panic. And I'm not saying this because I want you to remain confident, Sport. I'm saying this because we have seen this from experience. In fact, I said this, I've told this story to a few of you during our mock analysis sessions, but I will want to repeat this. That, 2013, 2014, we had a student. Um, when I was not there, of course, it was Ajay sir student who went to give the ZAT examination. So he had already taken CAT and he had not done well in CAT, and his only hope was to do well in ZAT. And his strength was the VRC section. And he told Ajay sir that I'm very confident that VRC I can score well in, and ZAT is a paper that revolves around language a lot more than does CAT, because two sections are dependent on language. So he went to the paper thinking that if I ace two sections, quant, even if I scrape through with a decent score, I should be getting a call from XLRI. And at that point of time, that was still not a digital computer-based examination. It was still a paper-based examination. So you used to get an entire booklet of all three sections together. And you had to mark answers on your OMR sheet or the bubble sheet, and you have to submit the paper. So I think this was 2011 or something, 2010 or 2011, before we went to computer-based. So it was a 3 hour paper, and you could submit the paper even before the time is up and just leave the hall. So what this guy did was he started off with the VA part of the paper, and he started looking at the VA paper, and he found it really difficult. He couldn't solve questions. He was not confident about a single answer. He tried to attempt VA questions. He felt that, oh, okay, so I have not done well in VA at all. I have no idea of what is the answer, what is not. So I will just submit this paper. I will give CAT next year anyway. My ZAT is also gone. So he just submitted the paper, didn't attempt decision making or quant. That year ZAT results came. And of course, because he did not attempt DM and QA, so his score that was 0 and 0. But the VA paper, in the VA section, whatever scores he had, that was a 99.5 percentile in that VA that year. So he had no idea how well he has done in the paper. Why? Because I keep on telling this to people that how well you have done in an examination like CAT, it's not dependent upon you. It's dependent on the others. So till you know how everyone in this country has performed in every single section, don't pass judgment during the paper that you have messed it up, screwed it up, you have completely spoiled the paper for yourself. That is not the time to pass any judgment on the paper. After the paper, pass all the judgment you want, go home and cry. As I said before, go home and cry, I don't care. But during the paper, remember, even if you stumble somewhere, it can always be salvaged. So I want
And
this mindset to be kept in mind. Yeah.
I'll just add one bit to it that if you look at the last year's discussion that me, Varun, and Ajay sir had after the exam, like every year we create a video and we upload it. I'll tell you what happened with me last year. I went into the paper. And me and Varun had had the conversation. I think Varun had written the morning slot paper, and he came back and he told me that the paper looks slightly more difficult than the regular one. And he gave me a bit of an idea about the paper as to how the paper is looking like. He, of course, told me that you go and write the paper. We'll discuss in the evening. I went into the paper. I got into the first English. I have no idea how the paper goes, so it just goes for me. I got into the LRDI section. I realized that first 20 minutes, I was not able to solve a single question in that LRDI set, the one that I picked up. I moved on to the second set. By the time my clock was saying that, I'm left with about 6, 7 minutes, that is the time that I strike that one piece of information that was required to solve that puzzle. And I'm 7 minutes, I've not solved a single question, but I think in my head I've got it. And by the time it closes, I was able to finish that one set. So somehow I was able to escape through that one set in the CAT 2024 paper. Out comes the QA section on my screen, and I'm thinking that I want to do well on this section because this is a difficult paper. This is a paper that I prepare students for. I really want to do well. I started with the first question. I realized I could not solve it by spending about 2.5 minutes. I said, let's move on. Got into the second one, could not solve it. Third one, it was it was the geometry question, couldn't solve it. Fourth question, again couldn't solve it. By the end of that fourth question, I looked at the clock and my clock was saying about 31 minutes left on the clock. I put my pen down. I took a deep breath. I told myself that I have 18 more questions to go. Let me look at the easiest out of the lot and finish those and move out of this paper because this is looking a bit difficult. I just kept running through the paper. And in the last 31 minutes, I could solve 11 questions, out of which 10 wrong, one right. That still did not get me a 99 percentile. And I came back and I told Varun that, a person like me who has wasted the first 8-9 minutes should actually not get a 99 percentile. And that is what our prediction was also coming down to. And that actually came out to be true. That my percentile was a 98.9 on that on the last year for the QA section. But then the point that I'm trying to make is that 9 minutes down my paper of 40-minute section, I could have sat there and could have cried for it that, oh my God, my paper is looking disastrous, right? But I didn't do that. I maintained my composure. I said, it's okay. Let's move on and let's try to finish the entire paper. That is precisely how I want you to behave when, or better than this, if you can. I want you to ensure that you stay calm, whatever may be the situation in the paper. You want to cry, we cry after the paper. You want to laugh, we laugh after the paper. But during the paper, we don't judge the quality of the paper. We don't try to make decisions on the behalf of the examiner or the percentiles or the colleges. We are just looking at a question on the screen and trying to perform our level best, knowing about the situation that how many more questions I'm yet to look at. There can be easier questions there. Let me look at the entire paper. All of that is something that you have to do during the paper. Just don't try to judge the paper during the paper. Absolutely correct question.
Yeah.
Just go question by question. Your job is look at the screen, do the question which is there on the screen. Keep a basic idea about this on your mind that how much time are you left with so that you can go through the entire paper. It should not happen that there were two easy questions sitting at the last of the paper and you don't find time to solve those questions. Okay.
Right. Now, with respect to the next thing that I want to talk about is with respect to target setting. Someone was asking how many questions do I need to solve in every single section. So, I don't want to have any kind of hardcore targets for people. I would tell you that because you've all taken mocks, go back and look at your best possible mock of each section. It need not be even with the same mock. Look at the best performance in VRC, best performance in RDA, best performance in quant in the mocks that you have taken. Go and sit and once visualize how did you take these sections when we were taking them? How did you feel for the paper? How did you go through the paper entirely? What process did you follow? And you tell yourself that this is what I'm going to do again on 30th of November. The same thing that helped me get to my best possible performance in VRC, in LRDA, and in quant. I will do the same thing in terms of process and mindset even on the day of the CAT examination. And if it has happened once, it can happen twice. Manifest the best performance of yours. And that you can replicate on the day of the examination. So this I want you all to do on Friday or Saturday. Pick up that best possible mock and once relive every one of the best sections that you have taken. And then ask yourself what process did you follow and how did you feel while you were taking the sections. And try to do the same thing on the day of the examination. You will be able to replicate your best possible performance. And if you do that, you will have done well enough to get to a decent score and a percentile. Now, in doing this, I know some of you will feel that, but it happened only once. And I feel that my performance has been very, very haphazard. It has been going up and down. I'm not very confident. Suddenly I do well in quant. Suddenly I get very less in quant. Suddenly I get 50 plus in VRC. Next mock I get 20s in VRC. So how do I trust the fact that I can get to my best possible performance? So to give you confidence, I want to talk about a story that I often narrate during this particular session, which is the story of Apollo 11. Apollo 11 was, by the way, the first lunar mission to put man on the moon, in which Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, they traveled, and the module that they traveled in, the rocket that they traveled into the moon, was called the Saturn V rocket. Saturn V rocket had 3 million plus parts in it, including nuts, bolts, panels, everything put together. It had 3 million plus parts in making the rocket. Why? Do rockets actually need that many number of parts? No. That was the first time a rocket was going to land on the moon. That's the first time that a machine like that was going to be built. And at that point of time, space missions did not have the same kind of funding that they have today. They did not have the same kind of computational power that they have today. Every single part required for the rocket was taken from a contractor who built the lowest, least quality parts that was enough to build the rocket, that was used to build that rocket. It is to date the most complex machine that has been made. So imagine this rocket, which is going to go to the moon for the first time and achieve such a great feat, was built together with lowest quality, cheapest parts, all put together from different manufacturers. And it was made to take off. And it traveled more than 385,000 kilometers. 385,000 kilometers is a long, long, long distance. It traveled the entire distance. And when these kind of lunar missions are launched, there are mathematicians and modeling and simulation kind of engineers and scientists who sit and map the path that the rocket will take from the takeoff point from the Earth and where it's going to land on the moon. And it's a very thin straight line path, or I would say straight line, a line path, a linear path that they will take to the landing point on the moon. I want you all to take a guess that the Saturn V rocket followed this line path to what level accuracy to reach. Anyone on the chat, take a guess that how accurately do you think the Saturn V rocket, which was built together by scrapped up parts all put together with 3 million parts and such complications, what percentage accuracy did it follow the path with? People generally say 88% accuracy. People say 90% accuracy. But it's less than that. Anyone wants to comment? 36.06. That's a very interesting number. Less than 50%. Raghav, be more precise, 67%. Okay. Even more lesser, 69%. All right. Anything else, 55%. All right. Javed is the closest. Nishita is the closest. Harish is even more closer. 98% of the time, the rocket was not on course. 98% of the time during the rocket's flight, they had to keep on realigning its path that it has to take. But 2% of the time, it was on path, and that was enough for it to reach its destination. Life is a metaphor, or this Saturn V rocket is a metaphor for life. In life, you don't have to have 100% of the things going right your way. It will not happen for anyone that 100% of the things goes right their way. If 5% of the things that you try go right your way, then you'll be Bill Gates. You'll be Elon Musk, you'll become Jeff Bezos. If 2% of the things go right your way, you will be successful and happy enough to not worry about your livelihood and where your next meal is going to come from. You will have a happy social life. You would have led a successful life by any metric that humanity has. And if 2% of your mocks have gone well, if 2% of your sections have gone well, you are on track to succeed in getting a really good percentile in the CAT. So
I'll just
this is
add one last thing that I spoke about in the Nungamakam Center, but I'll just repeat it for the larger audience here. A few days back, when I was scrolling through reels in my free time, I came across this reel where this Roger Federer was talking about a very interesting piece of statistics. He said, of all the matches that I've played, guess what percentage of the matches I've won? He said more than 80% of the matches I've won. Then he asked the next question. That guess how many percentage of points have I won in the games? In the games that I've played. He said, I've just won 54% of the points that I have played in my life so far. And that 54% of the points can make you world number one for a longest period of time. Now you can understand this thing, that when I'm playing a point, then that's the most important thing for me in my life. But once that point is gone, then I don't think about it. Then I just say that that was just a point. That's okay. Move to the next point. That is precisely what you are supposed to do. Don't think about one question going right, one question going wrong. You tried doing a question, you spent 2 minutes, you did not get it right. It's okay. Just leave, move on to the next question. That is like a point that you're talking about. You don't have to win the 80% of the points to win 80% of the games, right? You have to just win 54% of your match points to win 80% of your matches, right? That's precisely, luckily, or coincidentally, is the kind of number that you should also be looking at in terms of getting right on the paper. About 54-55% of the question paper being right for you is going to do the trick for you. That's going to be a 98-99%, right? I'm not giving you a number, so don't make it a point that you take that as a target. I'm nowhere trying to specify a target, but what I'm trying to say is you're not going out there to ace every single question that is being given to you, right? So keep your energies and focus at the right points. Think about the right things. That is going to help you ace this.
Last point, just small point that I would want to make, and then I will close the session with nothing more to add. Last thing that I want to say is that I know there are so many people who are dealing with anxiety at this point of time because they are prepared well, they have felt that they have put in a lot of hard work and effort. Sometimes they know that they have also slipped up. They have sometimes taken mocks which has not been satisfactory. They have made some stupid mistakes, and that is making them feel low, down, as if they have let themselves down. Even if it is not letting anyone else down, let themselves down. And I know that feeling of defeatedness starts to creep in when you have not ever performed in a mock to the level of capability that you have been able to. So specifically to those people, and even everyone else who is feeling a bit, demotivated by the last few mock performances and preparation and scared with respect to what is going to be the output of the examination, I just want to end the session with saying that I am proud of you. Okay, so irrespective of whoever else in this world is proud or not, I'm proud of every single one of you who has put in even an ounce of effort into clearing an examination. It's not that people do it on a daily basis, that they take up an examination which is not mandatory. Like, it's not a school examination, not a college examination that you have to pass. You have made an honest effort to be proactive in doing something that's not mandatory for you to complete a degree or complete schooling. You have done it out of your own accord, not being forced into it. In an adult phase of your life, where it is not a JE examination that you're writing with the hood, the fact that you decide to register for this examination, the fact that you filled up the form, the fact that you came for a few classes, the fact that you're sitting here right now, I am proud of you. And it doesn't matter how much you score, I will be proud of you after the examination. That's something that I want you to do. With that, I'll conclude whatever I want to say. Kushal, anything else to add?
No, I am also very pumped up right now by what you just said, right? All the best, guys. All of you have made a brilliant effort. I'm really happy with the way each one of you has prepared. I have had some really nice conversations with a lot of you in terms of how you are preparing and what you are doing. I know those occasions when, people were not getting these scores. They came back, we sat down, we had a word. After 4 5 iteration, we are still not getting these scores. But as recently as this Sunday, I've met students who have become better at doing what they're doing right now, and I really appreciate the effort that you have put in. Wish you all the best, guys. It's you will succeed. There's no doubt about it.
All
Wish
the
you all
best,
the
best
best.
guys, and see you on the happier side. Take care. Good night.
Good night, guys.